Hello and welcome to Guides.Global. My name's John Howell and I'm the editor, and with me today I have Başak Yıldız Orkun, who is a lawyer based here in Bodrum in Turkey. Başak, welcome.
Hi, John.
This particular video we're going to talk about people who want to come to Turkey to work. And I think it's fair to say that Turkey is pretty flexible when it comes to issuing working visas.
That's absolutely correct, because we have in our settled system that you can make your application. Most of the applications are going online, so yeah, and we are not really questioning that much when you are getting a working permit.
So let's then just run through the process. If I am somebody in Germany or Singapore or America who wants to come to work in Turkey, what do I have to do?
Firstly, you need to find yourself an employer and a position, obviously. When you got the agreement with the employer, it could be an initial agreement or letter on offer. You will have to visit the consulate in Turkey, in your hometown.
And thinking about how do you find a job, if you as an employer here were looking for a foreign worker, where would you advertise? How would you look to find one?
We have two main websites, which is basically HR websites. You can find the positions there, both if the position is for a non-national, normally they advertise in English or in different language. So you can check from online.
And we'll have links to those sites at the bottom of this video. So the person eventually finds a job, and then we have to do something about a work permit.
Yeah.
And it's the employer who has to obtain the work permit, not the employee.
Correct, because we have actually two systems. One is the work permit for a dependent version, which we would say you will be working for an employer, or you could have a employed working permit, which is more difficult, and I think we should just talk that later.
Well, we have a separate video about
that. A separate video, yeah. So when you find the job and the employer, then you have to fill some forms and just get some documentation in place, and then you need to make the application to the ministry.
Now, some jobs require special qualifications, so if you want to be a doctor or a dentist or
some of the jobs are prohibited, like doctor or dentist,
yes, exactly.
First of all.
Yes.
And I would say the best example would be the teacher.
Yes.
Language teachers, we have more non-national teachers working in Turkey. And if you have the correct certificate and the diploma, basically you can make the application for that position.
And other jobs don't require any official qualifications at all?
No, but just you need to submit your level of education, that's it. But you can be a receptionist, or you can be an administrative assistant. You don't require specific qualifications. You just need to explain why you want to hire a non-national person for that.
So then let's just imagine that you, Başak Yıldız, decided that you have so many Russian clients coming into this office that you need a Russian-speaking receptionist.
Correct.
And you decide you're going to go and find somebody who's currently living in Russia.
Yeah, I would.
So you would advertise that job and you'd interview the person.
Yeah.
You'd bring them to Turkey for an interview.
Or online interviewing. It depends on the deal, actually.
And if you wanted to bring them to Turkey for an interview, they would come as a tourist to Turkey for that interview. Yeah,
because our touristic visa is including some commercial meetings as well. Not working, but meetings.
If you brought them all the way to Turkey, would you pay their expenses?
Normally I would. Yes. Yeah, that's a part of obviously the agreement between the parties, but normally the employers are paying the expenses.
So if we assume that after that interview you thought, yes, I really want to employ this person, you would then have to gather all the paperwork needed to submit the application to the ministry.
Correct. And the other person, the employee, if they are based in abroad, they just need to go to the consulate with a supporting document that you got an offer or a contract with the employer. You just need to obtain a code to make the employer able to make the application on your behalf.
The important thing to stress here is it's the employer makes the application for a particular employee, and that employee doesn't have the right to go and do any work he likes in Turkey. He can only work for that employer.
Correct.
Otherwise he has to get a new application.
Exactly, and previous one would be cancelled
Yes.
in such a position.
So, you've now applied to the ministry for the permission, and you say the employee has to go to the consulate near where he lives, Turkish consulate near where he lives. What's the purpose of that visit?
Basically, they need to just see that you have a proper offer from the employer, and obviously they need to see you for the application, and they just generate a code for the entrance. It's just like a system, for a system purpose, basically, because you can make the work permit application either you are in here, Turkey, with a valid 6 months valid residence visa, or you might be resident in abroad. In that route, we need the consulate to be involved for the system procedure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to stress that if you're making the application from within Turkey, you can't do it on a Turkish a tourist visa. You have to have a proper long-term residence visa here.
Minimum for 6 months,
yes.
Valid for 6 months.
So the person goes to the consulate back in wherever they live, and that isn't a sort of a big, tough interview where the consulate is assessing whether you are a good person to work in Turkey. It's an administrative interview.
Exactly. It is just, I believe, to be able to generate the code for employer to make an access to the system with the application for an abroad-based employee.
So when you go to the consulate, then the result of that interview is the consulate gives a code to the employer back in Turkey, and that code allows the employer to submit the formal application for
Correct,
them. Yes.
yeah.
And from the time when you interview someone and offer them the job to getting the work permit, roughly how long does that take?
I would say after making the online application, you would receive a reply back within 3-4 weeks time.
Yes. So that's very quick by international
standards. Yeah, it is quick.
And
if all your documentation are in place and proper, you will be just given the permits. If there's anything missing, they will be emailing you and giving you some time, 15 days most likely, to complete the missing documentation.
And I guess the other thing we do need to stress here is that Turkey does not make it difficult for employers to get visas for foreigners to come and work for them.
Yeah, I would say that, because if you need a non-national person work for you, and if you make your reasons in writing properly, you will get the permit.
If you, the employer, feel that you need a Lithuanian, you write to the ministry and say, I need a Lithuanian because A, B and C, and basically they're likely to agree with you and give you the permits.
Yeah, I think the most difficult field of area would be just the labor work, because we have many Turkish people to complete that need. So, but I would say any qualified people who need it by an employer would get the working permit.
You mean if you ran a P-Day restaurant, you probably wouldn't get a work permit for a French P-Day chef?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Başak, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
We hope you found that useful. Başak has written our written guide to obtaining work permits to work in Turkey. She's also contributed to our book about how things really work in Turkey, both available on our website, so please go and have a look. We hope you found that useful. If you have, please follow us and like us, and whether you do that or not, we will see you again soon. Goodbye.